Good morning. Welcome to JP's Morning Brief for June 1st, 2026. All right. Good morning, everybody. I appreciate y'all tuning in, giving me a chance to talk to y'all for about 30 minutes as a quick step of what's going on. Can you believe it's already June 1st? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Um, so welcome to the podcast. Click that follow button if you have not already clicked the follow button, and click the like button, please. Okay, and I got the chat room open. Okay, so let's go here. We just to give you an update. The day is the start of June, which is a cascading effect throughout the month of June for the Declaration of Independence, which I cover in the JPA report at 12 Central. All right, so you can tune into that. But yeah, so there's stuff that happens the day, June 7th, June 11th, and June 28th, and then July 3rd and July 4th. All right. All right, so let's get started on this. Get the show on the road. All right. So, the Armament Shop, whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Coast's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns backed by top tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your farm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? Jason can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023, or visit www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. All right, welcome back. Let's see here. Put this here. And then we'll start with the Iran update. There's already over 120 ships that's been redirected. Let me stop right there. Go to the bottom. I just wrote this down about an hour ago. I know. I got up early. Hey, welcome, Ricky. I see that you logged in. Appreciate it. Appreciate the support, guy. Iran shoots down a U.S. drone yesterday or last night, and then U.S. retaliated with self-defense strikes. It took out several missile and drone facilities. All right, so that happened last night. They caused the price of oil to go up just a little bit, but we do what we got to do. So back to the top. Over 120 ships have been redirected. The Iranian president Masoud Pezeshkian submitted his resignation to the supreme leader, in which they still don't want to give us his 8-digit grid. So it is what it is, I guess. Israel says it's killed over 900 Hezbollah terrorists since Operation Epic Fury began. I can't even tell you when it began. I think it was the end of February. Man, so far the Israelis have occupied up to 26 miles of Lebanese territory. France urges a quick deal between the U.S. and Iran. Oman, the country of Oman, is warned not to get involved. The Iranian foreign minister said nuclear talks with the U.S. shouldn't be judged until finalized. The Iranian peace proposal demands hundreds of billions of dollars for war damage. Then the U.S. shot down. One thing I did not put out in here was that there has been no news come out of the White House this weekend so far after they had um, the Situation Room meeting on Friday. They put a lid, nothing came out. So I'm wondering what's really going on. Except for they keep like Fox News, they keep talking about the president and his um, news broadcast he did with Laura Trump on Saturday night. But that thing was taped like Thursday evening. I don't know. Get it right, Fox, please. Okay. Uh, the Dow Jones closed Friday over 51,000 at 51,032.46. That was up 363.49 points. West Texas Intermediate, as of about an hour ago, was at $90.86 a barrel. And Brent crude oil, which is the benchmark for international oil prices, is $94.20 a barrel. All right. So that's your Iran update for this morning. Next, JP8, the morning brief, but JP8 stuff. Okay, so this came out last night, and I didn't even get to add it on there. I had to just write it in. So we lost a great American last night. So people know, I'm going to put his picture up and I'm going to read it, okay? So it is with profound sadness that the Congressional Medal of Honor Society shares the passing of Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Bruce Crandall, U.S. Army retired, who was awarded the Medal of Honor for his extraordinary heroism during the Battle of Adrain in Vietnam. He passed away peacefully at home on May 31st at the age of 93. The legendary Army aviator Colonel Crandall was awarded the Medal of Honor for repeatedly flying his UH-1 Huey helicopter into intense enemy fire on November 14, 1965, to deliver critical ammunition and evacuate wounded soldiers, completing 22 flights through his relentless enemy fire. His actions saved countless lives and became one of the most celebrated acts of courage in Army aviation history. With Colonel Crandall's passing, there are now 63 living Medal of Honor recipients. All right. So just remember his family in your prayers. He was, let's see, there we go. He was, if you don't know who he was, if you ever watched the movie We Were Soldiers, and it came on yesterday, matter of fact, on one of the movie channels, he was the aviation pilot, helicopter pilot that was profiled in it about repeatedly coming in and delivering ammunition, picking up soldiers. And he was criticized by some of his fellow aviators for doing it, but he did what he had to do. All right. And great American. Man, I remember when he got his Medal of Honor, because he didn't get the Medal of Honor until just a few years ago, right? They finally recognized him. So that would happen. And then, now we're doing on time, 6:39. President Trump made an endorsement in the South Carolina gubernatorial race for June 9th. June 9th. So he endorsed Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette, and her lieutenant governor selection would be the current governor's Henry McMaster's son. And Nancy Mace was not happy about it at all. At all. President Trump on Friday endorsed South Carolina Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette over Congresswoman Nancy Mace in the state GOP gubernatorial primary. Trump, in a True Social post, called Everett America First Patriot, who never wavered in supporting him, and complimented her choice of a running mate in Governor Henry McMaster's son, Henry McMaster Jr., saying he's brilliant and competent. He also pointed out that Evette was the only South Carolina gubernatorial candidate to endorse him as soon as he launched his 2024 presidential campaign. Mace and Trump had a political falling out when she pushed more transparency in the Justice Department release of the Epstein files. I'll say this about that race, okay? I agree with what the president did with that endorsement. Uh, Nancy Mace, while she's a uh, very dedicated, and she's a true Republican. Okay, she was the first woman to graduate from the Citadel. She didn't follow into the military after she graduated, but she ended up becoming a congresswoman, right? Uh, as a good Republican, but she was not always a staunch uh, President Trump follower. I mean, that's her choice, right? But it's always about prideful because uh, she she thought like I'm the first woman graduate of the Citadel. I deserve to be a congresswoman, and she got it right. Well, I got all this power. I'm going to force the president to make them uh, reveal all the Epstein files, even though everything was already out there as much as they could. And all they wanted to do is a lot of stuff was beyond what do you call it, statute of limitations. But she kept pushing, which put President Trump back on the ropes, right? And she finally got her way about it because they passed this legislation and the president signed it. Okay, that was several months ago, right? And then she said, "Well, I got this kind of power. I'm gonna go one step forward. I'm gonna become the governor of South Carolina." She's running in third place right now. Yvette, she's in first place. The president took the winner, right? Now, Nancy Mace, with all that power, pride comes before the downfall, is lost everything because she can't run for reelection because she gave up her seat. Well, she'll be in there until January. Now it looks like she's probably going to lose the primary in South Carolina, which means in January she's unemployed unless she comes back to the president and says, "Can I have an ambassadorship somewhere or put me somewhere?" She lost. She lost. She had it in her hands. She probably could have served 2 or 3 more terms in the House and solidify more of a backing, become more of a team player. But now she's going to be unemployed. That's my thoughts. All right. Um, so next, Nicole Malliotakis, cool lady, a very staunch supporter of the president. All right. Oh, I did not know this till last night when I read this. She's Cuban descent, if you did not know, right? Um, I don't know, Ricky, did you know Nicole Malliotakis was from Canada? That that is unbelievable. But so if you didn't know also that there was a group of 4 Congress people that somehow got into Cuba and was siding with the Cuban government over the United States. Well, she's saying they needed to be investigated for treason. Okay, so what it says on Just the News, it says here, Representative Nicole Malliotakis, a prominent Cuban American who represents New York in the U.S. House, tells Just the News she wants the FBI to investigate Democrats and liberal groups for helping Cuba evade U.S. sanctions for the lone crime America's founding fathers explicitly identified in the Constitution. She said, "Look, I personally think they need to be investigated for treason. I think that they really need to be investigated by the Treasury, also by Justice." Uh, the New York Republican was reacting to the admission by Congresswoman Jay Powell from Washington that she recently took an official trip to Havana and also talked to foreign countries about finding ways to get oil to Cuba around U.S. sanctions and a naval blockade. Malatoka says she wants to see the House ban the use of tax dollars to make such trips to foreign enemies and soil. We need to do. We need to do is what we need to do is ensure that none of these congressional delegation trips are funded by taxpayers to go actually visit our adversaries and undermine our government. It said they go and actually meet with the communist regime at your expense as taxpayers to try to undercut what the president is trying to do, she added. And by the way, it's not just hurting, our government. You're actually hurting the Cuban people. You're actually supporting a regime that starves its people to death, that makes their lives miserable for 67 years, and has killed their family members and split up their family members. And, she's right. She's right. The communist government in Cuba has for decades, 67 years, have done nothing but destroy the Cuban family, the Cuban citizens for power. That's all it's about. Communism is about power. Take as much from the lower class to give to the upper class so they can live high on the hogs. You ask uh, Juan, because his brother Rafael is dead. Um, Raul Castro, how he's been living for the last several decades and stuff. Does he eat rice and beans every day like people in everyday Cuba does, right? He doesn't, right? Venezuela and Russia have been giving him oil over and over and over again. Now Venezuela doesn't because they've been liberated and they're struggling. It's only about time that they collapse and reject communism. The There are laws in the books that says you are not allowed to negotiate against the United States in favor of our allies. Yeah, she's right. They do need to be investigated for treason because it's exactly what it is. All right. I'll cover more about that later on. Uh, there's a lady in Illinois. She's an elected lady in Illinois. She went and did this, okay, so part of the Save America Act was restrict mail-in balloting. All right. One of the reasons it's so easy to manipulate mail-in voting. What's one thing you can do with mail-in voting? Like what this lady did. She mailed in her dead mom's mail-in ballot for an election. She didn't mail it in before her mom passed away. Her mom was already dead, and they've already issued a death certificate for her. And she got the mail-in ballot in the mail because there's not enough controls over mail-in balloting. So they sent her a ballot. She saw that it was her mom. She opened it up and mailed it, but she turned herself in. If there's only a good part about it, right? Illinois GOP Chairman Bob Krogan is calling on a Democrat Waukegan city official to resign after prosecutors said she submitted her dead mother's vote by mail ballot, a case conservatives say exposed broader concerns about mail in voting and voter roll safeguards, even though the ballot she caught was before it was counted. Uh, the Waukegan, Illinois alderman Sylvia Bolton turned herself in on Wednesday after prosecutors said she submitted her dead mother's vote by mail ballot in March primary election, which has resulted in 2 charges, including a class 4 felony. At least they caught it before it was voted, right? Man. According to the office of the state attorney in Lake County, Illinois, a vote by mail ballot for Mary Sims, Bolton's late mother, was issued in the first tranche of ballots to go out from Lake County Clerk's office in February. Just days later, however, the same office processed the cancellation of Mary Sims voter registration after receiving notification of her passing from the Illinois Department of Public Health via the State Board of Elections voter registration system. At least she turned herself in, but her mom had died. It's been processed. It got so far down the line that they canceled her voter registration after they mailed out the ballot, and her daughter still mailed it in, knowing that it was wrong. 2 counts. She's going to jail. She is going to jail as a result of redistricting in Florida. Popular Democrat Congresswoman Frederica Wilson declined to run for re-election because she knew she was going to be out of office. Representative Frederica Wilson of Florida announced on Friday she would not seek re-election for a 9th term. She would have served 18 years in Congress, marking the latest member of Congress to opt against an attempt to return to Washington in November. I think it's time. I think I really held on as long as I did because of the 5,000 role model program and my concern about the future of it. She currently represents the 24th Congressional District, which includes much of northern Miami and the Hollywood area. Her decision comes amid the state redrawing congressional House maps in the wake of the Supreme Court's ruling in Calais versus Louisiana. So, there's another Democrat gone. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for redistricting Florida. 18 years is too long to serve in Congress as it is. All right. What are we doing on time? We're at 6:52. We're doing pretty good. Okay. We're good. You'll love this one, Ricky, Mr. Kovite for life. We're going to talk about Oyster Boy. All right. So if you don't know who I'm talking about, Oyster Boy is Graham Plattner. He's a Democrat Democrat candidate for the U.S. Senate in the state of Maine. It came out that it's like an everyday thing with him, and as long as they keep putting out stuff about Oyster Boy, I'm going to keep talking about it. And I got 2 articles. You will not believe the next one. All right, so I got to get going on this. Nazi tattoo sporting lefty Senate candidate Graham Plattner had an account on a casual sex hookup app, Kik. I never heard about it until I read about it yesterday. I did not know. I don't want to know these things. Man, this is ridiculous. And was reportedly caught sexting with numerous women with photos from that profile obtained by the New York Post. Plattner, who once boasted of his flexible moral compass regarding cheating on one's wife in a 2019 Reddit post, had a Kik account named P Hustle 0331, the Wall Street Journal reported. And Plattner's wife even flagged to campaign staffers that she discovered he was sexting with numerous women, according to the outlet. Amy Gertner, who told Plattner campaign aides that she discovered the sexually explicit messages in late spring 2025. The pair had married in 2024. She told staff in August about the messages out of the fear they could become an issue in the campaign. They are. In never before seen pictures from the account, Plattner is seen wearing only a towel with his entire bare torso and multiple tattoos visible. His infamous Totenkopf skull and crossbones tattoo blocked by his hand, however. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, so there's a dating site for, it's called Kick, okay? Stupid. All right, so this is the concerning one. So next Tuesday is the Maine primary, all right? So you see all this stuff coming down on him right now. It is thick and it's heavy, and he's still got a lead in the Senate race. But truthfully, he's unelectable. But let's say it keeps getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and he wins the Maine primary next Tuesday, June 9th. Well, there's a stipulation in Maine law that as long as he withdraws before July 5th, he can, the Democrat Party can put whoever they want in lieu of him, even though they've already voted for him. I mean, that is so dirty. Oh, wait a minute. They did the same thing to Kamala Harris, right? So Joe Biden drops out and they name her and she didn't get a single vote, right? So a controversy surrounding, they never learn. A controversy surrounding Democrat Senate candidate Graham Plattner continues to mount, attention turning to a little-known provision in Maine law that could allow Democrats to replace him on the general election ballot after the primary. The question has taken new significance because Maine election law provides a mechanism for replacing a nominee who withdraws after winning a primary. Under Maine law, a candidate who wins the June 9 primary and subsequently withdraws by 5 p.m. on July 13th may be replaced by nominees selected by party officials. Any replacement candidate must be chosen no later than July 27th. The timeline would give Democrats just 14 days to settle on a replacement candidate and prepare for the general election campaign. You talk about not fair. That's absolutely outrageous that something like that would happen. Okay, I got more. I got some stuff about Spencer Pratt coming up at noon Central on the JPA report. So join me back then. We're running out of time. So I wanted to tell you about Pints and Politics for this coming Thursday in Belton, Texas at the Dead Fish Grill. 6 p.m. is the start time for it. Everyone is invited. Come on out and join Chip Howe. My wife and I are going to be there. But June 4th, 6 p.m. at the Dead Fish Grill in Belton, Texas. All right. So we're running out of time here. And then on June 9th, just a few days after that, Tuesday, June 9th, at the Coppers Cove Conservative Club. It is at Giovanni's at 6 p.m. in Coppers Cove. All right, getting ready for the raid here. We're going to raid in events in just a second. We got about 30 seconds left. So thank you all very much for tuning in. This is James Pierce with JP Morning Brief for June 1st. I will see everybody at 12 for the JPA, 12 Central for the JPA report. Thank you all very much for tuning in. And I'm initiating the raid right now. So y'all have a great morning. Wait a minute, I won't be on at 12. I'm sorry. I'll be on at 8 p.m. Central Time. All right. So I'll see y'all then. I'm out. 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Sorry about that, guys. Man. All righty.